Hey guys, so I just want to talk about again the state of Fortnite and what I think Epic could do to potentially fix their game. So people have, as you know, PC players are complaining about aim assist, and console players or controller players are wanting to defend aim assist, and that's all because of skill based matchmaking. So first thing, skill based matchmaking obviously isn't working. Skill based matchmaking isn't fun. I mean, you can put it in competitive. I'm not an extremely competitive player. I'm trying to get into it more, but I play casual. I play for fun. Um, and skill based matchmaking just isn't this doesn't make it feel the same. So I remember uh before I had an Elgato or OBS, I used the built-in Xbox recording software, and I recorded it on a USB and then edited the video on my phone, and that's where I'd post it. An iPhone 6. That's what I would post my old videos up until the Jedi Fallen Order videos, which were my first videos with the Elgato. And I always wanted to do uh, random duos, random squads videos where I'd encounter some noob or some kid, and they would be really bad at the game. It'd just be a fun time, right? And I wanted to do that, but the built-in Xbox software wouldn't capture others' voices. So I decided I would just wait until I get like an Elgato or something, and I do, and I would do it if it weren't for skill-based matchmaking, because I've recorded a couple videos on random duos, random squads that just aren't working, because every person I run into is better than me, and they've been playing since season 2. They have like over 200 wins. They have over 10,000 kills, right? And they're doing call outs, and they're playing this like a competitive match, and I'm just like, okay. Um but that's the thing. Like, I if you remove skill based matchmaking and forced crossplay, like, okay, crossplay, like I want to play with my friend that's on keyboard and mouse, like we did before, like season 5. We would have we wouldn't have skill based matchmaking, but I could play with my friend on PS4. He could play with me, which was on Xbox. I could play with my friend on Nintendo Switch. We could play with a PC player, right? And everything would be fine, right? We'd just get, like, the servers were great. It was normal. It was fun, right? But then they added skill based matchmaking. Now I'm always getting put up against these sweats because I play with people that do competitive, and I don't I'm not that skilled. When I always get uh all the time, never. I just can't. I Playing with people isn't fun anymore. I play solos now. I haven't talked to any of my teammates in forever because they play creative, they play zone wars, box fights, arena duos, and I'm sitting here solos, casual, and I'm still getting put up against these great players, and I'm not the best player obviously. And if they just remove skill based matchmaking, return it to how it was, great. Also, the lack of communication between Epic Games, the big creators like Ninja, Dr. Lupo, Courage, right? I can name so many. It The lack of communication is just so bad because patch notes were great. I remember I would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning on an update day, and I'd read the patch notes for Fortnite on the bus on the way to school, and I'd be like, oh, okay, so they buffed the heavy sniper. Like, I actually don't know, but they buffed the heavy sniper, faster reload time, or oh, they added Siphon to the game, and I remember Siphon was such a big thing, and I everyone was excited for it, and I heard nobody complaining about Siphon. no one was complaining about Siphon, and then they removed it for no reason. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little weird. And then eventually of chapter 2, they just removed patch notes completely. Like, I remember one time there's a porta potty in like near Misty Meadows on an island, and that would take you to Lazy Lake, like around there. But now it doesn't. And I was watching Cypher PK's video, and he found that out in the middle of a competitive match, and he could have died from it. He said he didn't, but just imagine if he did. And the lack of communication is crazy because we don't hear anything about our game, and the lack of effort. I remember we would have a new gun or a new item every week. Different items would get buffed or nerfed, and it'd be fresh gameplay. They'd have a new LTM, they'd have new challenges, all that. The newest stuff we've gotten in the files are skins. There's an infected game mode, which I'm actually excited for because we haven't had an LTM in years. I swear. Like, I remember I would play only LTMs. I love One Shot, I love Sniper Shootout, Close Encounters, Solid Gold. All those were super fun, but then now they're all gone. Dude, bring back The Floor is Lava. Bring back Air Royale, but with helicopters. I don't know. It worked perfectly. I guess that it just worked, right? There's so much opportunity that they can put for new LTMs, but all we have are new challenges every week that unlock a different style for a skin in the battle pass. What happened to evolutionary skins where you would have drift and then you'd level up and you'd get drift with the golden like lines on his shirt, and then you get drift with the hoodie, and you get drift with the mask, and you get drift with the cape, and then the full maxed out with the purple lightning and all of that. Like, what happened to that? It was so much fun back then, but now it's just, I love the season, I love the idea, I love the spies and stuff, the mythic weapons. It's a great idea, but like, remove the mythic weapons from competitive. Like, I'm pretty sure they removed helicopters and crash pads because that's not competitive. But if you're gonna go throughout the items and remove them from competitive because it's not competitive, don't just stop halfway. Because if they're gonna remove those, also remove the mythic weapons, because you don't want to be a competitive player and get spammed on by 30 miniguns, maybe the mythic minigun, in your box. And since the servers are so bad, every other bullet is hitting you and you're gonna die in like a half a second. That's not fun. Competitive Fortnite and casual Fortnite don't need to be the same thing. Like, maybe you can make the minigun take up 2 slots, like the bandage bazooka. Make the heavy sniper take up 2 slots. But in casual, only make it take up 1 slot because it's not as bad in casual. And tournaments as well. I remember they said they would stop all tournaments before they fixed the servers. And everyone was excited. They're like, oh, they're finally fixing the servers, thank God, right? No. A day later, they made a daily duos cup, which I haven't seen my friends in forever because they've been doing that. Daily duos cup every single day. FNCS weekly. And they just never fix the servers. They might actually be worse than they were before, right? And I just feel like the lack, like the worst ideas come from Epic. Like, the best, I've watched so many people talking about Fortnite like I am right now, and those are like the greatest ideas. The players know best, in my opinion, and Fortnite should make some sort of Discord, something they can communicate to Ninja, to all these big YouTubers or streamers or just Fortnite players. And not they don't have to listen to everything they say, right? Obviously, because not everyone knows best, but take some ideas because Cypher PK obviously has a lot of good ideas. My favorite YouTuber C-Day, he hasn't uploaded in forever because it's impossible to get those like funny moments in Fortnite anymore because skill-based matchmaking is a thing. If we remove forced crossplay, keyboard and mouse players don't have to deal with controller players, and controller players don't have to deal with keyboard and mouse players, and everyone would be happier from like back then, right? Every season should have an event. For the past season, chapter 2 season 1, we didn't have anything. We had Star Wars. I guess it was an ad for the new movie. I had nothing to do. We knew nothing about the storyline. We knew there was two people, the Ego and the Alter, which we now know is Ghost and Shadow, right? And like we didn't even know what they were doing. We didn't know they were at war, or I don't even know if they're at war now. But we now know there are vaults under the agency, right? We know Midas has like some sort of evil plan or something. I don't even know because the lack of communication. They should have something every season that has to do with the event. I remember going to school every day, saying like, and then people would be like, "Oh, the cube moved. It's in the direction of Loot Lake. Oh, what's gonna happen?" And then I remember watching videos on the cube melting into Loot Lake, and everyone was so hype. I remember watching a live stream on Loot Lake because I thought it was gonna turn into a volcano, and then and it's like I missed that hype. Like honestly, it was kind of annoying when it was a thing because the guy would be like, "Oh, spam F in chat. Oh, and like, do you hear that? Oh, my screen is shaking. Right? I remember that. It was kind of annoying once you realized they were lying just to get views and likes. But now I kind of just miss that hype. I remember going to school every day, and then we would use the computers to look at the teasers for season 7, season 6. I remember meeting up with my friend every Monday, Wednesday, and we would like be hyped for season 6. Like I don't know, it's just not the same anymore. But there's so much they can do to make the game better than it was back in season 5. If they do what they did in season 5, meaning add new weapons or items every week, add new LTMs, have challenges with ridiculous amounts of XP. I think, and then they do that with the new map, and they could have new stuff for the new map changes. Like I remember the Rock family back in season 8. The Rock family would move, and there'd be a whole storyline about that. That is really cool, and they can have map changes like that. Postbox Pat could do videos on that too, because that's what I remember watching him for. Because I'd watch him and he'd go through all the map changes, right? Because he'd just go through all the updates. And then what was his name? The Camping Rusher would go through the more technical side of Fortnite, like all the new guns or all the new items, the nerfs and buffs for the items. But now they can't really do that anymore because we aren't getting patch notes, or we aren't getting map changes. I remember season 10, cool battle pass idea. I liked it. In my opinion, it was pretty cool. But the idea, the brutes were horrible. I didn't like the brutes. The taco time was annoying, right? But I liked the map changes. You'd get Tilted Town, you'd get Neo Tilted at the very start. We'd get the Gotham City, we'd get Old Retail Row with the zombies. Like, that was fun. But in competitive, maybe take out the zombies. Competitive, take out Taco Time, right? Do the same we're doing right now. Take out the henchmen, take out the mythic weapons, take out the helicopters, right? and then everything's back to normal, and everyone's starting to actually enjoy. Like, we can, and all the people hating on Fortnite is because they're not good at Fortnite. And they're like, oh, well, everyone's sweating. Yeah. Remove skill-based matchmaking. And the thing with skill-based matchmaking, it was always kind of a thing. But people would choose where they wanted to go. If you wanted to go to Tilted Towers, you knew you were in for better players. If you wanted to go to Salty Springs, you knew you're going to better players. But you go to Wailing Woods, you're going up against pretty bad players. You go to I'm trying to think of old map. Go to Paradise, you go to medium players. You go to what was another place on the map? Pleasant Park. You go against pretty medium players. Junk Junction. No one really went there, but you knew Tilted Towers, good people. Junk Junction, Wailing Woods, Pleasant Park, Retail Row, that's about a normal skill level, right? And it was pretty fun like that because you could choose where you wanted to go depending on what you wanted to play. Like, when I was just playing, I would go for a win. I would go to Wailing Woods. I'd go to Pleasant Park. But when I went for a video, I would want to go Tilted. I want to go Salty because I'd make content. But now it's just, there's a difference. You'd want just enough action that it makes good content, and just enough easy skill level so you don't die. And that's what it always was before, but now it's just there's so much action in one thing. The games last like 15 minutes, and it doesn't feel like you were in like you it doesn't feel like you worked for that. It feels like you kind of just stayed there and just ran. But I just remember playing with 4 people, and I would always we would land all the way at Pleasant, and we'd have to we would land somewhere. I forgot what the old map looks like, but we'd land north west of Loot Lake, and the storm would be in the southeast of Loot Lake, and we'd have to run, and we'd build bridges over Loot Lake because you couldn't swim. It just slowed you down, which I like the swimming mechanic. Don't remove the swimming mechanic because it's interesting. Like, it makes the game better, but just remove the things that make the game worse. It's not that hard.